I think it's become very clear just how shameless Hikari is in this anime, and I feel like anyone that is animating her, like any staff member that is working on this anime when they have a scene for her, it's very clear that they just absolutely love her. Like, there is just so much detail on Hikari as a character that I feel like she gets way more love and spotlight throughout this anime. Yeah, all of them kind of have equal amount of scenes, but like when you really take a hard look at just a lot of these different scenes that happen here, it's just like Hikari just, I don't know, there is this, like, this life that is just poured into every single one of her scenes, and I feel like there is definitely some bias going on the staff, but, you know, personally, I love Hikari. She's a great character, and, I mean, the anime is really doing a fantastic job of just, I feel like, really getting off just how distinct her character is from the other two that has been introduced. I mean, she's basically, like, this girl that just is very down bad. Like, she is legit, like, I guess, grade A example of a down bad female character. And I mean, just her jumping for joy in this scene. Like, bro. bro. Bro, it's so shameless. Like, seeing this scene, it's just like, I cannot believe how shameless she is within this anime. But okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about a few things. So, this anime overall, now that we're about, 4 episodes deep into it, as you can see here, it's crazy. I can't believe we're already 4 weeks into this anime. Like, where is time going, by the way? Like, where is it going? Like, it feels like it was just yesterday that this anime season started, but somehow we managed to make it 4 weeks deep already. But, back on topic, though. This anime really is just, it is what every fan of any anime wants. Like, I feel like there's so many countless manga and anime, etc. out there that, like, when something gets adapted into an anime, people can only dream of having an anime as good as this. Like, in terms of adapting the original source and bringing things to life, making it just elevated beyond what you ever would have imagined. And honestly, I would say in terms of, like, what I have seen so far from this, in terms of 100 Girlfriends, and for clarification, I only read to chapter, like, 28, 30 or whatever of the manga, so I'm nowhere near close to updated of, like, the content that probably this season's gonna cover. But the point of the matter is that, like, everything I've seen so far, it's just, like, it's followed the manga to the T, and it's actually even changed some of the gags that would only be fitting for the manga into anime-form gags, like, breaking the fourth wall. Like, a good example of this is this scene right here, where we have, Shizuka and her whole circumstances of her not being able to talk. Rintaro explains this to everyone, and he uses it in a way it's like, oh, just watch the previous episode if you want to know, and he breaks the fourth wall, and the characters is like, you can't be lazy, just give us exposition. I really like that. It's really nice usage of just, the comedy that 100 Girlfriends normally has within its manga, but kind of transforming it into, anime comedy. And I think that's really good, because it's like, one of the big concerns that many had, when this got announced for an anime, was that, could they properly adapt the comedy into the anime? Because there's a lot of comedy that is just manga jokes, that could only work in manga. But the fact that, it has been slowly transformed into something that would work in the anime format, once again shows the level of detail and the extra mile that the staff that is working on this show is really going to make this absolutely a banger anime for, fall of anime 2023. But, yeah, I'm really impressed, honestly. Like, I know I keep, kind of singing this show's praises and all that, but if you're an anime only, I'm just gonna say, I know it's really tough probably not wanting to read ahead and see what's gonna happen, because this anime is legit good. If you've made it 4 weeks in, and you've been watching this, you're probably like, man, I really want to read the manga, because I feel you. I understand that completely. Even me, as that's kind of already seen this content, kind of wants to go back and just reread all this again, just because of, like, how good it is. It's legit good. And the manga is amazing. I'm not trying to say that it's completely inferior to the anime. I'm just saying the content that has been adapted really has just been super enjoyable, and bringing voice and movement to it is just, it's an experience that you can't really get in the same way as reading the manga. And so if you really have been enjoying the show, I recommend you sticking as anime only. It's been good. It has been legitimately fantastic show. It's honestly crazy how good this show is. Like, it is up there as probably one of my top 3 favorite shows of this anime season. It has been fun, but to be fair, I am a sucker for romance shows, etc., and since this show is a very unique take on the whole harem-type genre of anime and manga, it also has that going for it as well, because normally you would have, all the female characters, fighting each other, which kind of a little bit does happen still in the series, but it's like, they're all fighting for the attention of one male character, and, the male character is like a beta male and doesn't understand the feelings that's being kind of, thrown at him. But Rindaro is not that character. He's a guy that, understands that they all love him, and he does anything he can to make sure all of them are happy, satisfied, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Like, this entire episode, the main point of it, like, if we're really wanting to get into the nitty-gritty of what the actual plot of this episode was, it was about, Rintaro introducing, Shizuka into the fold of, basically introducing her to the other two and allowing her to feel like she fits in and not feel inferior, because this is definitely going to be an issue that is going to have to be tackled a lot, and let's dive headfirst into that. Basically, from everything we know, from what the plot is obviously established to this very point, is that Rintaro is going to have 100 different girlfriends. Hell, it's the title. It's literally the title of the series. And it's like, he's gonna have to juggle 100 different people and love towards them, which, honestly and realistically, that's impossible. But, this is obviously not trying to be realistic. It's breaking the fourth wall. It's meant to be fun, comedy, and just showing that this one man has just so much love to give. It's just universal level. Like, if we're doing power scaling of love, like, how people love doing, like, power scaling of, like, shonen characters like Goku versus Superman or whatever, basically, Rindaro would be the strongest entity in the romance verse. Like, he is overwhelmingly strong with his love. So, with all that considered, I think that he would just solo any other romance genre. Like, in terms of just the love that he can give others. Like, if we're just scaling love, he definitely is probably the highest, at least that I am currently aware of. Now, if there's anyone else I could potentially compete with him, do let me know in the comments below. The only characters I could say that could potentially compete with him, it's not necessarily a romance genre, but in terms of love, I guess it'd be Satala from Re:Zero. If anyone knows more about that, you'll, you know. But if you don't know, well, go watch the series. But anyways, the point of the matter is that Rintaro, he's trying to allow Shizuka to fit in, to allow her to feel like she belongs and she's not inferior, and this is definitely going to be a theme that could potentially pop up time and time again when a new female character gets introduced to fall in love with Rintaro, because, I mean, you're going to have it to where, like, when he gets to, let's just say, the 56th girl or whatever, okay, she's going to be like, wow, there's 55 before me, do you really care about me, do you really think that you can actually share some form of attention on me after you already have 55 others? You can imagine this is the conversation that is going to appear. It's eventually going to appear once again, but tackling this very early on just showcases the level of dedication that, Rintaro is trying to do, but also the writer of the series as well, and let's talk about that, okay? One of the big details that, this episode actually does, and I think that really a lot of people don't realize, is that Rintaro points out, like, all their very distinct personality traits that even themselves weren't really aware of. Like, Shizuka, she's an individual that, she, like, moves her feet depending on the emotion she has when she's reading something. Hakari is an individual that puts her finger to her mouth and all that in a very, like, lewd way. And then we have our favorite Tsum, where she basically, like, she starts twisting her hair, if there's something going on or she's in deep thought or whatever. So they all have their very distinct character traits. And also, as I already talked about in the first episode, Hikari here, she has a little mole literally on her thigh, near, the butt region, so to speak. And every time there is some form of shot on her legs, you actually see it. You see the mole. And there's these little things that are put in onto these characters that are very subtle and appear throughout the anime. Even the anime has shown it already time and time again. And it's like the extra level here that not just the animator's doing, but the writer has to do is insane. And let's kind of break this down, okay? Once again, it's easy to point out these little different characteristics of these personalities, especially since it's only 3 characters. But this is a consistent thing that happens throughout the manga, at least from what I read, to where Rintaro notices these little traits of individual characters, and the author has to remember this. Imagine this, okay? You're a writer of a series, and you have to juggle 50 characters, 100 characters, and all their differences of personality, the little things that they do that are it's very distinct or different from the other. That's basically what Rintaro and the author has to do. That is an insane feat. It is legitimately an impressive feat to be able to juggle that many characters and to remember their individual things that really separate them from the others. So, just impressive, honestly, nonetheless. If we're not even factoring in the love that Rintaro has for individuals of, like, you know, his girlfriends and all that, you know, he is insane, but so is the writer. That insanity is just leaked into Rintaro. But overall, though, this episode is legit good. The main point of it, like I said, is to allow Shizuka to feel like she belongs. And, you know, this is kind of set up for clearly for the future of, like, you know, how they're probably going to handle, you know, future girlfriends that join into the fray. It's going to be settled amongst themselves. Rintaro won't really try to jump in and silence them to really correct the problem. Sometimes he might. It depends on the circumstance. But overall, he wants them to be able to express themselves and, like, be themselves. He doesn't want them to hide what they truly feel. He wants them to actually be who they really are and be happy. So he's a really good boyfriend. He's legitimately just an incredible character. I mean, once again, he's not realistic. He's not trying to be realistic. The series is not trying to be realistic. It's fun. It's a very core essence, fun series, and I think that's what really drives a lot of people to enjoy 100 Girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, do let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on, you know, the new addition to the cast. Who do you think is going to be the next girlfriend that he's going to meet? Let me know in the comments below. But with that, be safe, stay healthy, Chibi out.